Yes, good afternoon, good morning. How is everyone doing? I see I messed up my little stream with the scroller of mine. Anyway, how is everyone doing? Great to see you. Let me see. I've got a new follower. What's letters? Thank you so much for joining. And thank you so much for following. And let me see. CTI Geek. Hi. Welcome to the show. My name is Fani Renders, and today we are going to write some code. Blazor.net Azure. We're going to get our hands dirty, and we're going to be working on a little application called JobCloud. Jeff tweeted my stream. Thank you so much, Jeff. Shout out to Jeff Fritz. Great inspiration. He's been doing a lot of live coding lately. And I must say, he's a pro. He is a pro. But nevertheless, thank you so much, everyone, for joining this stream. And before we get started, I just want to kind of ask you guys to tweet or comment me on the chat here. Or actually, don't have the chat here on the left. Let me just see. I do have the chat. There we go. There's the chat. A couple of people reaching out on the chat. Now everyone can see it actually on screen, right? On the YouTubes and on the intrawebs. Like I said, I'm going to be trying something different in today's stream. And normally, also in with the whole Scrum and Agile way of working. When you say you work Scrum and you work Agile, normally, typically these kind of things are time boxed, when you do like refinement sessions and stuff like this. So I was thinking, well, I'm going to be doing obviously coding tonight. And the idea is to also time box my time, because typically if you are time boxed, you're kind of laser focused on your actual problem you're trying to solve, right? So I'm going to give myself like 2 hours to achieve a certain goal. Now, the goal, I don't really know what the goal is. We'll work towards something. And then we'll see what we can get done as a kind of a benchmark, as a kind of a, let's not call it a benchmark. Maybe let's call it a zero proof reading to see how much we can do in 2 hours, right? And what we're building, we are basically rebuilding an application that's about 15 plus years old, 10 plus years old, that was initially built using .NET Framework 2 in VB, completely still running, right? But it's old, right? And what we're trying to do is we are trying to kind of revive it and make it serverless, cloud ready in .NET Core and Blazor and all this kind of new stuff. So what are we going to be doing? I'm going to hit the button. The show is going to start, and I'm going to say hello, and then we're going to switch over. So let's do this. And I'm back. I've got a short intro. So I'm actually very excited. I'm going to be showing you guys, before I start, I'm going to be showing you what I've built so far. And just switching the screen over. There we go. I found this cool thing called Blazor. Right, so Blazor is a Blazor component library that you always wanted, right? And in the previous streams, I've kind of evaluated a couple of these component libraries, and I've kind of settled for Blazor because this ticks all my boxes for what I want to do. And we're going to be using this, and I've kind of built this application also from scratch in my free time using Blazor, and it's very surprisingly how quick things are going with it. Before I start, the application that we're going to be building, right, or rebuilding at least in this case, is we're going to be rebuilding this application that you see on screen. This is a job card program. It's kind of a WinForms application. Yes, this runs .NET 2 at the moment. And I lost the source code, right? And we need to kind of create more features and stuff like this. And I was like thinking, well, let's take this and let's give it a facelift. Let's give it a new technology boost, right? It's a whole job card management system. And I will show you what I've built, right? So minimizing this. And of course, in previous streams, what I've done is taking this agile approach to kind of decompile it back into C# and then using into .NET Core and then mutating it slowly to the web. But that didn't seem to work because it was very difficult to do that. Rewind again, back to the drawing board. So what we'll do is now we'll do a cold turkey migration. So that means taking it, still supporting it, because technically I have the source code, I can still kind of recompile it. But we're gonna leave it to chill. But we're gonna be rebuilding this whole thing from the ground up using newer technologies. So this is what we have. I'm actually just gonna run the code, right? So let me see. There we go. And before I'm gonna start, well, technically I'm not coding now, so I have my little timer here set up for just over 2 hours. And let's get this thing going. So this is how can I say this? This is the web-based. This is the newer version. Right, so it's already mocked up in a sense. There's no content, so we'll slowly but surely work towards building this thing out. So we have a dashboard for now. There's no login implemented yet. Then we have this whole job list thing, right? That's comparable to, I would say, this screen over here, right? You can create a new job, you can refresh, and you have pending and completed. We still need to implement this customers as well. So the customer screen is equivalent to the customer's screen over here, all right? And then settings for whatever that means. But also check this out. We have a dark mode and a light mode setting, right? That just works out of the box, which is very fancy, I would say. Okay, and as far as the code goes, it's pretty much straightforward. Diving into the code, we have your stock standard Blazor application, but this is going to be running on. It's not yet doing that, but this is going to run on Azure Static Web Apps. It's an awesome service from Azure that allows you to run your static applications backed with Azure Functions. So this is why you see this API in my screen. That's that's the backend for the front end that we'll be using. But all the Blazor bits, we're going to be only focusing on the Blazor bits today. And probably we're going to just create a mock-up service that will feed our data from now, and then we'll implement something like Cosmos DB or something later on. So the dashboard is quite simple, or maybe let's just show you the layout, right? We have a kind of layout. It's still kind of a bit messy, and it's in a sense we'll clean it up as we move on. So we've got an app bar, we've got an icon bar. So this is all Blazor components that I just use, just from NuGet package. It's a NuGet package install. You install Blazor and you're good to go. And then, the what do you call it? The color changer of the switch, right? It's literally implemented in a sense of it's an icon button, and the icon is depending if it's a dark mode or light mode, and it's basically just toggling dark mode, and you give it a value to the MUD theme provider to actually set the value of the theme. So in this case, it's either dark mode or light mode. But this is something interesting, right? So this one actually gets the system preferences, which is pretty neat, I would say, because this allows us, if I go, for instance, to my settings, eventually when it opens up, this is Edge, by the way. Eventually, where's my my sound effect still works, so that's a good thing. I have no idea why this is taking long though. There we go. I don't know why it's just taking long. So let's go to dark mode or something. Dark mode. So here I'm sitting on system default. So my browser is based on system default. If I force this, and this works on Chrome also, by the way, I believe. If I go to light mode, right? This doesn't change yet, right? But if I F5 or refresh, it loads the light mode setting, which is pretty cool, right? If I go to dark mode and I hit F5, this will then load the dark mode. There we go. So it's kind of using the OS or the settings from the browser. What we still need to figure out is, well, this one, the system default one, inherits it from Windows, right, or the OS. In my case, it's black, so it uses the dark mode setting. What we'll figure out later is to do this dynamically. So on an event that it changes, it will then trigger something in the application that will refresh the theme. And then we will have that effect, the same effect that Chrome is, or that Edge is doing with the light and dark modes. Right. And with that said, let's start. I've got my little coder timer here, and I'm going to give myself some 7 seconds here, up there, or there, to kind of ease into things. Well, that's already over, I believe. So let's get cracking. Let's write some code for 2 hours. Let's have some fun. So the first thing we want to do, and like I said, in this 2 hours, we want to focus to get as much done as possible. And we have jobs and we have customers. And how do they relate to each other? Now, a job is a job, like I said in the previous streams, it's a job card program, right? We are writing something to issue job cards. And a job card has a customer and a bunch of other details, right? That is obviously dependency on it. So let's see how we will use that as an example to get some data flowing in this screen that we have here. So we've got pending and completed. Whether we want this view, I don't know, this will probably change. I feel like we need more, a bit more simpler view. Almost like Gmail has the read and unread view. We probably can have a status for these job cards and maybe have a filter button. By all means, any ideas that you guys might have, let me know, and then we can actually implement it live on stream. How about that? That's awesome. And this customers, maybe this would be an easy one to start off with, right? So let's see if we can get this custom screen going, and then implement a new custom screen page to get that whole thing going, right? And just a quick one for the folks that's joining on the stream for the first time. This code is available on my GitHub repo. I'm pasting the link to the repo here. I just want to get JobCloud. Don't be confused. There are 2 job card systems on my repo. There's the jobcard.vnext. That's the old migrated one. So that one is still valid, but it's not maintained anymore. That was more experiment. What we will be looking for is the JobCloud one. I'm just going to put this in the chat for the folks that do want to kind of check that out, and then party on that. And then, yeah, that's about it. And what we've done is, if you're using Visual Studio Code, you would need an extension to run this properly, right? And this extension is, I believe, it was called, it's Command Task Runner, right? When you install that one, you will be able to see this running, but then when it opens up, it will open up a little program that's in the start CMD, which will fire up this static web apps things to start listening for this kind of port. Because remember, this static web apps is a CLI tool that's not officially out yet, right? There's no built-in support yet for Visual Studio, so it's not the F5 experience that you get out off the bat. And this kind of helps us to kind of get that running. We could, however, just launch it from the client, right? But the whole experience of, and we probably can just do that for now, I believe. But the reason why we want to do that with the CLI is it runs a kind of a gateway, a proxy gateway, right? That will proxy all the requests to the API and back. That's the real world what am I saying? It's the real world static web apps kind of running then locally, right, on your machine. And that's typically the same experience that you would expect that static web apps will behave when you deploy this out. And of course, in later streams, we will implement a CI/CD pipeline, and when we commit, all these kind of things will then just work. I'm also going to be a bit naughty. I'm not going to create a branch because typically there's no one really approving these kind of things. So what I will do is I will just do normal commits because I'm the only person at this moment that works on this whole thing. Right. Close all but this. So this is now running live. It's waiting for inputs. Right. I have my customer screen here. And let me see. We have our toolbar and we have our table, right? This could be refactored later on. What we'll need is we'll obviously need a kind of a provider that gives us data for this kind of component, right? And how do we do that? Well, we could kind of connect this up to the API, right? Let's see. If we create an API, let's create a new item, new Azure function. And let's call this, for instance, customer function, or just customers, I would say. And it's HTTP, maybe HTTP with OpenAPI. I wonder what's the difference there, though. We can always check, right? What will this generate? Okay, it just generates an OpenAPI. Well, fair enough. That works. Okay. So here's the cool thing, right? Just running my application as is would then run the whole, it will just run the whole app. But then if I go, I think API/customers, this is not working, 502, and it probably needs a code, like a security code. Exactly, so it needs a function key, which is, I have no idea. It's, what will the function key be? How do you run this locally then? For functions, that is a local key, because it's 502. Why would it be a 502 though? Let me just quickly see. So it's customers. I've not run this yet, so it's the first time I'm actually trying to figure this out. Oh, there we go. This bad gateway. it tries to get that. So even if we do this, right, we just, oh, will this work? No, that won't work. Okay, that doesn't work. Bad gateway. Is this thing even... Just want to test something out quickly before we murder the messenger. I'm now just running the API separately. And I'm going to see if I can just call this thing directly, right? So the idea is to be able to do that. Allow access. Okay, probably it was a firewall issue then. There we go. It picked up. Oh, interesting. So it picked up this. So it's got Swagger UI. So technically, I can expose the Swagger UI from the client. But you see, this is now using the different endpoint, right? We've got customers and all kind of things now. Great. So this is working. But I do want it to work under the same domain as the static web apps, because that's the kind of idea. You don't want one service calling another service without a kind of a proxy in between. So what we'll do is, let's just start this again. Okay, and then see, this now should run under this. This doesn't run here. Bad gateway. How does this now run without a gateway? Function request detected, but no endpoint configuration was found. Please use API location to configure a function endpoint. Okay, so that's the thing that we need to configure here, right? So it doesn't know where the API location is. And what does the Azure Static Web Apps CLI, what does the documentation say on that? So, I mean, there is a thing that you can define this. Let's go down. API location is that. Okay, that's interesting. All that we need to do is in this whole suite of things. Let me just also add, let's just stop this whole thing quickly. We actually have a file. I'm just going to add it to the solution called static web apps. Oh, that's not what I want. No. Can I just remove this? Will that delete the file? No, probably not. Add existing item. I want to go one notch back, right? And I want to go to, okay, maybe just add this one here. So this file, the API location is that. Interesting. It didn't. It's supposed to pick it up though, because this is API. .NET Watch Run project that. API location is that. Interesting. Function request ticket, no endpoint configuration was found. How does this thing run then? All the way up. I wonder, can we kill this? Yes. Let's start this from over. I see, I start that. I don't start the app. Interesting, so it doesn't use any of this configuration. Okay, well, that can be fixed. So what will happen, and just bear with me. If I say that, will this thing work the same way? No. App was not found. Okay. I want to give it the configuration because that's what I want to do. It's here somewhere, right? So it's app. There we go. This one. Surely this would work. There we go. Something's happening. Okay, so now this is working on there. So now if I run this, it should now pick up the Azure function. Or hopefully. Or something. But nothing is picking up. Because this should be 5,000. That's probably. Ain't it? I'm just like messing things up here. Let's try this again. Run. And then let's run the application. Failed to launch browser. Okay. This does not want to run. Okay, fine. I don't think this location is this. Okay, so let's just keep it simple. Let's do that, and we needed a. Let's just pass this in correctly because I don't think, because the time is running, I don't think that we will have. Let's do that, and then we say this is this src/API. We should have. Oh, this ended now. Okay. Oh, no worries. We will fix it. The reason why I keep on starting this tool set is because, there we go. Now this is working. Detected V3, but it requires V4. Maybe on this machine though. Cool. No, that goes well. Something's happening. You know what? I actually need to make both run, I think. Exactly. So I wonder if we go here to settings, because it needs to run both the API and the client, right, to get this working. Yeah, that was I think that was the kind of a trick here. So I'm going to start this on. Now it's starting the functions. Yes, there we go. And it's supposed to also, there's the functions. There we go, something is happening. And there we go. Now this thing is running the way I want it to run. And now we should be able to say API, customers, and that should give us a trigger. So the same host we use, and then it will kind of funnel through the application. And then also, technically speaking, if we just paste in, I believe it was, which one was it? API Swagger UI. And probably you don't even want to do this. This is the Swagger UI on the same host, right? Then it kind of triggers through like this. So this is now what we have, customers. So let's quickly hone in to get a list of customers, right? Very simple. Let's just get a list of customers for our application. Okay. I wonder if we should call this customers functions. Let's just keep it like this. All right, so this is run. Okay, fine. I do want to change a few things here. I want to make this customers, or get customers like this. And I want to actually say name of that. Okay, much better. And all these other things will just work seamlessly, right? So we want to also not have a get. That's it. Roots. Okay, let's remove this. And what we want to do is, I think we can also say, can't you just say turn okay or something? Okay, result. You have to say that. Okay, fine. That's also a thing. Okay, so what we want to do is we also want to have a we have a shared thing here. Why is this now? Interesting. Remove. Let's add a folder called models. That's all the DTOs will come there because the client and the server will share the same DTOs, at least for now. Let's start there. So we have our class. And this is customer. Let's call it the customer list. DTO. Call this public. Why not? And then we have that. So that's the list of customers. And we also want I would say a customer list item. Customer list item. So that will represent the item inside I believe, yeah, that's the item inside the list. Okay. Okay, so it's totally refactorable. So let's see, customer list. Let's create a move to that. Okay. And then what we'll have is we will have a property. We'll call it count. That'll be the count of the customers. And another one that we will say this is IEnewable of Google. Come on, cancel. Like Google keeps on going. Cancel. Interesting. Customer list DTO. Right. All right. So now And this is the customers. Let's just call it items. I can see a refactoring coming in here because we want to maybe have a customer list of, or a list of key DTO one day. The reason why I'm actually wrapping it up in a list is because then you can have all sorts of other metadata that goes with the list, you know, like your count and next, a link and all that kind of other things, instead of just a list, because you cannot really do much with an array of things. A wrapper around it, it's much better, I would say. That's the items. And list item, sorry, that one. And in here, we'll keep it very, very simple. I think this is ID. We'll keep it like that, because that will be a GUID. And what else do we have here? So we can actually use the SQL to determine, maybe that's scary. We shouldn't open SQL now. Let's just go functionally. What is required here? So there's two different types. Oh gosh. There's two different types. There's a customer, private, and a company, like individual or company. Maybe let's rename that to individual. So that's a type, right? And so it's got a type, an account number, and a customer name. So this is the account number. We have that. Control D. And we probably would have a type. That would be an enum type, I would say. Customer type. Are we creating a new file? Yeah, let's create a new file. And let's call this a public enum. Or we could just call it, look at that. What? This is amazing. With the magic of Copilot, it suggests just that. Individual and company. I'm just going to tab that. This is amazing how this works, right? Correct. So we're going to use that. List item. So this is just a list, right? So we're only going to be focusing. This is not the domain type or the main object. This is just a list. But it's great. It's good to know what's the type of this list. Okay. Then we have, well, we probably can just go on this list that's here, right? Because the type is inferred from that icon there. Okay, customer name. We need customer name in here. String. Should we just say name? I think that's, oops, that's fine. Another one, we have account number I already have. Telephone one. So that's the thing, right? How many of these telephones are used in telephone 2? So it's very little where a telephone 2 is used. But the goal is to keep it one-on-one the same, right? That's the idea. So let's just keep it for now. Telephone 1 and telephone 2, I believe it is. Yes, and customer's mobile phone. That's the mobile and email. There we go. That's the list item. All right? Simple. All right, and going back to our customers, what we want is a service that can feed us this whole things, right? So now, first and foremost, I think we can always refactor this later. let's create a service, like an interface, right? Call it public interface, iCustomer repository. Hopefully this will then Tori. I wonder if a Copilot will actually write this for me now. Look at that. This is amazing. So get customer async, create customer async, update customer async, and delete customer async. This is what I wanted. The power of that. But you see, it was not clever enough to figure out my customer. Oh, well, actually, it is clever enough to figure that out. Do we want to map it from a domain object to a DTO to a view model? Because it's all kind of the same thing, right? At the end of the day. Keeping it simple. I'm thinking out loud. Because then in this case, we can just say, you know what, actually, yeah. So what we'll do is, what will we do? Okay, what I will do is I will customers API. I'm going to rename this to customers API, right? And I'm going to create a customer file in there for now. Okay, because we want to get a customer async. That's the customer ID. We want to create a customer and we want to update a customer. And typically, a customer has these items in here. So let's basically, will that be, no, that's int. We don't want int. I'm just going to paste that in there like that. So all the customers that we have in our first, in our example, all customers have at least, if it's a private customer or a company customer, I think at this stage it doesn't matter. Because the one is inherently from another one. They all have account number, they all have name, right? They all have an ID. Okay, that's fair enough. Type doesn't matter because that will be inferred. Name, account number. And then ID, I think it's also, yeah. They will both have a postal and a residential address. And I think for now we will just keep it postal address, residential address. Telephone one, cell phone, all that kind of other things is the same. Yeah, email. So technically speaking, I can just copy this and add it here, right? That's a customer. I'm going to do something very important right now. I'm going to create a public abstract class. That will allow us to actually say, you know what, public class individual. How do I spell individual? Individual customer. That is actually a customer. Oh, did it actually want to suggest something? interesting. That's not what I'm going to go for because it already has a name, right? I'm not going to go that far in actually doing things. I do, however, want to extend this to a ID number. So string let's call this identification number, and we have and that's basically it. I think that's the only thing that between a customer, yes, that's the only thing that distinguishes. Where am I now? Oh, so where are we now? This thing is now. My Visual Studio crashed. Nice. Hopefully this was saved somehow. No, it wasn't saved. Can you believe it? Anyway. Not to worry, we'll just write it again. It's not a problem. What's happening with Visual Studio? Come now. What? What is happening? Customer base. I don't want the preview now. Come on, man. I think my computer is now messed up again for some reason. Visual Studio. There's nothing wrong with my keyboard though. That's for sure. Just over an hour and a half left, or under an hour and a half left. Let's go and create a class. Okay, this thing exits. I just need to remember to start it up again. Wow, amazing. It's funny how these things generate stuff. It's public. What is it doing? Public class. What? Individual customer. No, in the individual. That's individual, right? You spell that that way. Am I right? Individual. I'm just gonna copy it like that. Super lazy now. So, okay. And that basically only have a, as far as I can remember, it only has a an ID number to identify. And the funny thing is, a customer registration number. One could argue that that's the identification number of a customer. Okay, well. Identification number. Okay, save that. And we'll just copy this in, and we say this is a company customer. And I'm very curious to see what code spaces will do to this, right? Nothing. All right, so registration number, VAT registration number. So basically, registration number I can actually just do that. VAT registration number. A lot of plumbing. I could have just generated these things. And should we just create a list of directors here, because having 4 does not make sense here. Key value pair. I think so. So let's do a dictionary. Of string and string. And we say control plus, we need that. And we say directors. Okay, having the key being the ID and the rest. And this other one we'll just say string managers, manager name. And the rest is basically the same. Right, so we have that working. Nice. Okay, now let's create a couple of customers. We have where's the API? Custom API, customer base. I'm going to actually delete this because it's not what I want. And let's actually create a new file from that and a new file from that. Okay, so we have that working. Great stuff. Now let's go to our custom API. And exactly, so that's probably not saved. So public interface customer repository. Hopefully it will generate something for me. There we go. Let's do that. Customer ID. That's fine for now. I think I'm going to keep it. But I'm actually going to be moving it into a separate file, right? So control dot and moving it into this whole customer repo file. Yeah. Great. So the cool thing is we're going to be using the customer repo in here in this class. So what we'll do is we'll actually pass this in customer repo. And we call this customer repo. Look, it's already doing all sorts of nice things for us. We can just delete the letter. And I'll create a new read-only field. Done. In here, we can say, we'll do the logging later, but now we want to say our customers is, customer repo dot. Now that's a task, right? So it's await. Let me just see what's happening here. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to my stream. I'm doing some coding in Blazor today. Right now I'm writing a Azure function that will feed my application customers, right? So I'm busy writing the customer API. Right, so what I'll do is customer, and then we'll obviously say, you know what, I want to get a list. I'm gonna keep it super simple. Get customer, what is my repo? So I've got guest customer, update. I don't have a list though, so let's copy this and then let's say what I want to do. I want to get a list. Is that a thing? Maybe iron removal. We'll get an iron removal back of customers. like that. This doesn't have a, let's see, get customers async. Okay, well, why do I have async in there? It was generated, that's why. There we go. That explains it. So I don't need a customer thing in there. So maybe I should always also say how much I want. Okay, we'll do int top. Well, that's interesting. Let's just keep it like that. Top and skip. That's fine. And we'll leave that blank for now because that's 10 at a time, which is fine. But now what we want to do is load this in. Very simple. Load this in and map it to a class. So first and foremost, we'll have a result as a new, not a JSON result, but we want a customer list DTO running here. Oh, wow. Add a reference to shared. That's what we want. Okay, that's cool. We want that. And the items is the customers. But in this case, we want to say, select them. And select them in new customer. Like that. And that does that automatically. Well, that works. I need link. So there's link. Done. So we have customer ID, which is customer ID. That's inferred, right? We have name. And most probably we have type, right? So we have a customer. We have type. I wonder if we can say for now, let's say type of, or is it name of? Type of customer.name. Let's just keep it like that. But that's now, that wants a, I wonder if we should create a, instead of a enumeration, let's do it like that. It's an individual customer. Or maybe we should write a helper that will parse the type. Is that overkill though? Because technically we don't want overkillness now. We could have a helper, yeah. That can infer, maybe that's an idea. Let's leave it like this. Individual customer or company customer. And the type is that, and then we say enum.parse. Ooh, this one, we want this one. And parse, no, what's happening? Dot parse. And we want type of that. There we go. And do we want to say ignore case? No. And I think what we need to do is we need to do that. We need to kind of tell it to cast that to a customer type. I think that's customer type like that. And the squigglies will go away. All right, this is something that we will refactor in the future. All right. Let me see. What else? No. We have type. We've got name. Do I have name? Yes, I've got ID, which is important. Account number. And that needs to go to account number. Telephone 1, telephone 2. Telephone 1 is probably just telephone 1, I believe. C dot telephone, oops, 1. This is why a mapping tool like Automapper is extremely important in these kind of scenarios because people make mistakes. And that's mobile, and that's infers that. Brilliant. And email. There we go. Nice. It's very scary how this works, actually. I don't think I need that. That will work fine. All right. So that's the, oh no, that's the result I'm looking for. But what we can do is we can give this DTO a bit of cleverness. We could tell it the count here is items dot count, right? That'll be inferred. All right. And that's basically just returning the result. But now, look what happens if we just start this thing up. Also note that it's a different URI, right? So what we'll do is we'll actually get a, where's the customers there? Get customers. Not exactly what I want, but fine. We'll deal with that for now. Let's open up VS Code. And let's close this folder. And let's say we want to access that, and that is a HTTP, I think. Yes. Internal server error. Because it cannot, that's null, right? So what we'll do is we'll actually create a mock-up of that, right? We will create a class, and we'll say mock customer repository. Need to create a customer repository. Mock. And that will implement iCustomer repository. All these little things. Great. Get customers async or get customer async. Here we can literally just create a bunch of customers. I wonder if there's source code out there to generate these kind of things. So we have items is a new customer. I think it's a customer list. Oops. And then we'll have a normal for each or for, let's create, I don't know, let's create about 10 customers. Oh, let's start at 0. Let's start at 1. And let's create about 10 customers here, right? And we say items.add. And probably, do we want to create 5 non-customers and 5 customers? Or randomize that? I have no idea. Let's create 5. Oh, I'm doing it wrong all the time. Let's do that, and we say new individual customer. Account number is for now it doesn't let's say i.toString for now. ID is also i.toString. We'll just literally mock this up. With a bit of logic here, let's say 11. And then what we'll say is identification number is literally math.random. I don't have a random thing. I don't know, I'm just gonna literally create a bunch of random numbers. Like that. Let's see, toString. What else is here to implement? Email. Just call it email at email.com, doesn't really matter. Name is, we'll just say this is customer I can make this a bit clever. like that. Telephone number, we'll just say random.next.toString. I'll just add a few numbers in there, doesn't really matter. And that's the same for telephone 2, and that's the same for telephone 3, mobile actually. Okay. I'm not going to fill the postal address in here. I'm not going to implement the postal address for now. So if we say if I is smaller than 6, give me, I don't know, or should I randomize that? Maybe I should randomize that. If it's an auto even number. Okay, maybe, but that's getting complicated. How do I get auto even numbers again? That. Exactly. So we'll say var rand int is random.next. Okay. Then we'll say if a random.next, if it can do that, I can just use that, right, to determine. That's also a thing. Okay, if it's otherwise, I'm going to do an else. And I'm going to say a company customer. But here, the things are a bit different. So it's registration number, and we need a VAT number. Yeah, I know. I think that's VAT, right? What else do I need here? Directors. Manager name. All sorts of things. Manager that, manager this. There we go. I'm not going to fill in the directors for now. That we can skip, I believe. Okay, so we have something working. But now the interesting fact is, how do we now give an instance of this whole thing to our API? I believe there's some way we need to do this in the framework. So let me just Google that quickly. So that's Azure Functions C# dependency injection or something. I think that's okay. We have to create that. Okay, that's easy enough. Let's paste it in there, and I think my namespace should be the same. Yeah, right. So that all could go away. Function startup, is that a thing? I need this. I need that package, and I need my JobCloud. No. I need that, and I need that. And I think we need to say that's that, and that will end up like that. Cool. All right, so We don't need that one for now. Add singleton. We'll say this is customer repository, and make an instance of customer repository mock in this case. That should be enough to kind of give me a that should be enough to give me a mock instance. Something is wrong here. Not all paths contain a... Okay, interesting. All right, so we have that, all the items, and now we can just return these items, right? Just gonna change this. That's interesting. Great. Return items. That should compile. Failed. Oh, okay. Maybe say task dot from result items. Also failed. What's happening? Oh. Not all code paths return an item. Come now. Cannot implicitly convert threading task generic list customer to a threading task generic unenrollable customer. Okay. Do I do that? The same thing. At the end of the day, this is a mock. I don't really care. Great. So now if I go to do that, that will give me an internal error still. Why? The type provided must be an enum. It's waiting. Why is this failing, by the way? Okay, let's try this from the start. Okay, so that goes in there. And that goes in there. That's a customer. And the type we don't have here. I see the type needs to be inferred. Okay, fine, that's fine. But wait a minute, the type doesn't matter here. Okay, that goes through. The customers, I have 11, which is supposed to be 10, but fine. And in here, I know what my bug is. That's supposed to be customer type. There we go. That should work now. Let's run this. Sometimes this browser thing does not work. We can actually turn off the browser thingy. All right, so that's that. I can actually say API customers, and that should 404. Okay, get customers. I should actually fix that now. That should be fixed. Should I call this customers? I think that's pretty decent, right? Okay, maybe there's duplicate one there I need to get rid of, but fine, let's stop it. I think it infers. Let's try again. There's an error. Okay, there's the breakpoint. 500. Okay, this can happen. Custom API. Let's see. Where's the problem here? Obviously, something is happening. Requested value customer was not found. That doesn't tell me much. Oh, okay. All right, so what we'll do is we'll say c.getType name. That's better. Because previously I tried to get explicitly customer, right? And there's no enum called customer in that case. That's why it failed. Or so I hope. .502. Okay, that's also interesting because functions are not starting up. Here's my functions. That's startup. And I have my customers. Nice. All right, so there's my customers. That's loaded. And the trick here is now to use the 11 customers to, why is it 11? Oh, it's 0 based though. We only want 10. There we go. So now we have that going on, right? A lot has happened now. We've basically created a mock. But now what we want to do is we want to implement that whole mock thing in our Blazor application. In here. Okay. And we're basically going to be doing the same thing. But we will be injecting HTTP client, I believe, and we call this client. That is the browser client that it's going to be using. Okay, and then here, instead of saying a new, I wonder what will it infer? We say client dot let's say, well, result is client dot, I don't know, base address. No, base address would be the same. So get async awaits, and let's go for API/customers. Right. That's the response, and then we also need the result. Is the response dot content. I don't know, how do you read this thing out? Because content, how do we read response again? Read as JSON, read from JSON async. I think that's what we want. We wanted to be able to read it from, that's the interesting part. So this is now this DTO, right, that it shares. What? Look at that, amazing. That's a customer. Customer lists. List DTO, I think it is called. It needs to have a reference to that class, by the way, because I don't think it has a reference. No problem. We'll just add a project reference to shared. Probably can just reference that directly, right? Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we want 10 of those. Now we need to map the DTO to enumerables. And again, we're going to be using select to do so. Wait. There's a new customer list item. Interesting. Well, that works. Just need my ID or my type. So it's type, I believe. What's it called again? Oh yeah. I dot no. Type or something doesn't have a type. Sure it has a type. Or it doesn't have a type. Okay, in that case. Type. I wonder if we can just use the same DTO, right? So because that'll probably not change. It's telephone 1, telephone 2, and mobile. Was it just like that? No? Did I just not implement telephone? Telephone, mobile, email. Interesting. Okay, one is implemented. That's fine. We can live with one. We can just keep it as it is, right? That's simple. We'll just say that. Well, actually, we need to do that. I think that's way better. What is it saying now? Possible null reference. Okay, fine. Items. Will that work? No. All right, moment of truth. To get a list filled, non-refactored. There we go. List of items. Nice. These things does not select at all. We need to still implement these things, but we have a list. Nice. There's the list. That works quite well, actually. It's not optimal, but it works. Even if we open up good old nice. All right, so this works. So based on the type of customer, do we want to show something? Yeah, that's the type, right? I think because they're using the same things, there's technically a difference between the DTO and the actual view item. So having this is not a bad idea, right? But what I do want to do is maybe just keep it simple and say customer type. Like that. Okay, so that's the type. And then based on the type, we don't have maybe an account number or logo or something we can use to infer the icon. Yeah, I mean, what is the best practice here to add an icon to a row? I mean, we can just say type, most probably. And say type here, right? But that's not what we want. And say type. Because that would render out the name. If I'm not mistaken, because I have half an hour left. Customers, doom. There's a custom individual, company, individual, company, individual, company. Well, okay. All right. So going back to the Blazor implementation here. Let's see what we can do to get this components a bit smarter, right? What do we have? We have those things. How can we differentiate a customer like a person or something, right? So we need a person. That's a person. Okay. Okay. A person we have, and then a company. Business maybe. Okay, that's yeah, business center. I think that's fine. Or that one. Why is companies always what would we say? We could use we could use a chess, queen, and king because the customer is king. Well, that's maybe an idea to use a pawn and a castle or something. Chess pawn and chess queen. What's your thoughts on that? I don't have a preference though. We could use something like, I don't know, that's attribution. Okay, we can always change it later. A person and a business. How do you use the icon again? It's called person and business, so you can just say mud icon, right? Here we would say the context. Maybe we should say here. If it's not a customer, it's a business. Yeah, most probably. Let's say if context dot, oh no, what's happening? this is not helping. Okay, well, this won't help, right? So there we go. If the type is a company, then paste business. Else, please paste person. I think that pretty much sums it up, right? Let's start this show and see. Hello, hello. If you just joined us, welcome. See if I can write something in 2 hours that's valuable, right? What I've done is write a little custom API that feeds fake customers and put it on my screen here. So then I can actually have a type, individual or a business customers. In this case, it's actually showing perfectly. I wonder if it will actually, yeah, that's fine. All right, we've got that sorted out. It's not implemented, by the way, but it's getting there. If we go to the table again, we probably want, do we want this effect, the click effect? How does the code look for the click event? For the well, okay, that works. Hover, I like this. Hover. Hover should be on, right? Hover. Hover of over. Hover is on. All right. Let's try this out. Sort by. Let's say we want to sort by, no. Oh, this is now a new thing. It's a sort label. Okay. We just wrap that up in a sort label, I guess. And the element, that's the item. Am I right of saying that? Customer list item, blah, blah, blah. And we say X is actually the type or something. Will that actually work? Let's see what happens. Only one way of finding out. Magic. That works. Okay, it actually errors out because it doesn't know how to solve this. Why would you want to sort on account number? Or name? Maybe name is a good one to sort on. I see it tries to let's go string, and then we say type dot to string. I think that should solve our problem. Or not. It breaks for some reason. Reload. Say an error handling reload. Okay. Maybe I should just sort on something other than that. Let's just see. Do that. And then we want to sort on new function. Sort by. Doesn't need a T object. Interesting. Let's just give it maybe name. Maybe say name. Does name work? Also not. So there's something iffy with the way it sorts object number. I don't see anything. Oh, there we go. Sort by. That's what we need. We're missing something, yeah. Or not. That breaks completely. It's a simple sort. I'm missing something here. Sort label, sort by. Header content, row template. Do I have that? Yes, I do have that. So sort by list item DTO. That's not a DTO, by the way. Okay, that explains it. It's that. Can I give it a T? Yes, of course. Because I want to do that. Is that the only way? Interesting. let's do that. We can always refactor the things later on. And yeah, it's called customer name, by the way. Now this would work because it's a different class. Boom, there we go. Name. So the sorting function works here. Okay, that's cool. Selecting does not work. So let's see if we can get the selecting working. So selecting blah, 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 this one. Multi-row selection. Bind selected items. We actually need all two of them. Okay, that's there. That will probably just end my whole thing. Okay, so what we want is we want a hash set. Okay. Maybe that will work. No, it doesn't. Eject. Oh, there we go. That works. Nice. Let's run this again. Customers done. That doesn't select at all. Okay, well, why doesn't it work? Because what I want to do is the ones that selected. New hash set of customer selected. Okay. Bind selected items. Multi-select. I'm missing something. Items is items. Okay. Hover is hover. What if I can just implement that for now, just to see what happens, because at the moment we don't have anything, right? We have, that doesn't even work. That doesn't work, that doesn't work, nothing works. Why doesn't it work? Selected items. I wonder, will that be a thing? don't think that will be a thing, right? The whole 1 or 2 or whatever. Well, it kind of worked for 1 second. Okay, interesting. Can't figure out why the selection does not want to work. Is there a get from? Look at that. There is actually a result driven to that. Nice. Now, why doesn't this want to work? Because that. Okay. I have no idea why the sort does not want to work actually. Because it obviously works. Why would I do that? So that works. So maybe let's implement this thing. Just for now. Just to kind of make me not insane, right? Inline, select items. It will obviously be bold. I need order by. $11 minutes to go. That definitely selects it. It doesn't see if I click it numerous times, it doesn't unselect it. Maybe that's a bug. just take that out. Here we go. That works, but that does not work at all. The moment you start selecting an item, it just adds that. So I wonder how this can be possible though. But it actually works, which is like so insane. This obviously works. Why does this work? What is different? I wonder if I just want to take the sorting logic out just to see if I don't have any discrepancies, right? Because I do not want things to fall over. Maybe it does not like the type. I don't know. Or I don't know what the deal is with this thing. There's obviously a bug there somewhere. I cannot see what the problem is. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay. It's a hash set. What will happen if I just say toList? Maybe it tries to evaluate it on the fly or something. No, I don't know why it's not doing that. This is an interesting bug. I have no idea why this is the case. We will figure that out. in an extreme, I think. Okay. Are we doing the refresh? I think so. Let's do this in a private. Oh, this thing is still running. Get, what do you call this? Get yes. Okay. And then we have a refresh button here, I believe. And this we can say click something on click, get customers. I think that's how it works. How do I do the click thing button? Looking like an idiot right now, but anyway. Do I need to do that? I don't know. Oh, there's 2 minutes left. Click. Event handling, come on, give me one click. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. That should work, right? No. Mouse event aux. Protected. Oh, let's see. Still an error. I wish it can just tell me where the error is. Oh, refresh. That'll work, right? Or not? Come on, why is this not working? Oh, we're gonna lose. So this was a cool stream, 2 hours in, and we managed to actually not get anything done. Wonder. One click. Maybe say bind click or something. Get customers. Will this work? I don't know why this won't work. What's this? Parameter X. Okay. Very quickly. Docs. Click. That doesn't work. Probably should work the same way here. What's this? Okay. Code here on click, open dialog, which is that. That's what I want. On click. Okay, well, on click was that. I wonder if this works. Private, okay. Maybe we should do it like that. That's why it doesn't want to work. Private void, open dialog. Private void, get customers. It's the same thing. And it still doesn't want to compile. Okay, there's something else wrong. Obviously. What can be the wrong now? Oh, I see. I see. Is it a wait? No. What's the problem? Can you believe it? On click. Get customers. This will now give me a refresh. Hopefully. Will this actually work? Because I don't think it refreshes, by the way. It actually does. Cool. One way of implementing it which we will change. Just one thing I would want to implement here. Table. There's this loading thing. Multi-selection, fixed row, column, blah, blah, blah. Inline edit mode. And at server side, we'll fix that also. Table with related data, horizontal scrolling. Grouping is interesting. Where's the loading? I wonder if the loading toggle that's on the grid. The grid has, this is quite cool. The grid has this feature, the loading thing, which is editing, grouping, aggregation. But okay, somewhere oh yeah, show loading. Okay, so loading is loading. Okay. Well, that's interesting. We can just do that to show that we are loading this bad boy. And this is private bool loading, basically. I've implemented here. So here we can say loading true. And here we can say no, loading false. This will now reload, and I promise I'll stop now. Just want to get that experience in, right? Okay, so this is cool. I wonder, it would be cool. I promised I would stop, but anyway, skeleton. So what we'll do, this loading thing, like. Let's do a couple of skeletons just for the cool kids on the road. Road template. simple table. There we go, simple table, just this thing. This can also work, right? The simple table. So the thing is, what we want to do is when the thing loads up, we want to spawn up a couple of items. So for example, F is loading, I think. If loading. I wonder if that will work though. Template. I promised I would stop. But I think this thing. I think I should render a whole new table. If this whole thing, we'll also fix that. So, okay, let's maybe stop this. Yeah. Checking the code, does this work? Always checking your code when it builds. Let's do the whole checking thing. What did we change here? We implemented a customer. Right. Now we've started implementing the customer list. One last demo. I think we've done well in about 2 hours, right? So we're making slow progress, but we're also learning as we go on along the lines. Look, now this is working again. Maybe it was a bug. Now that thing is working. Okay, well, at least that is working now. All right, so basically we have our list, and what we want to do is figure out later on. Figure out later on when we select something, what do we want to do with the items that we select? Because keep in mind, if you select one or select many, there's different things you can do to it. For example, if you select one, you probably want to edit it, but why not just put an edit button just in line? Or if you select multiple, do you want to maybe delete them? That might be an idea. But that is for another time. The chat was very, 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 very quiet initially, thanks to Mr. Jeffrey Fritz that tweeted my stream. I've got a lot of traffic. It looks like I'm very lonely tonight. But nevertheless, I managed to get a bunch of things done. It was awesome. And I would say happy coding. And this is me signing off for the night. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Let's do this again next week. Adios.